we are very fortunate to have with us retired General Trent Edwards. His position is as the military, and he is coming in as a military and a community development person with our Chamber of Commerce, and we're very fortunate to have him. And we're going to talk today about the military, the education system, and folks, I want you to listen because we can't ignore it. We are at a tipping point, and we're counting on you to tip it the right way. And I'm so glad to have you. It's just a pleasure to have you, Trent. We talked about, there is a scorecard that the military goes by. Could you let us know something about that and how we came out on that?
I sure can. Well, Virginia, first, thank you for having me here. You look lovely as always so very stylish, and it is a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the question. It's a very important question, and we are at a very serious point. I mean, this is serious business. So the Air Force has recently released a support of military family scorecard. In our community, we've been calling it the Education Scorecard. And this scorecard rates all 154 military installations in accordance to progress and quality public education and spouse and licensure reciprocity. Now, about 2 years ago, the Air Force partnered with some subject matter experts and some policy specialists to develop an analytical framework, quantitative criteria by which it can gauge the support for military families in the 154 installations. And so it's primarily focused on public education and spouse and licensure reciprocity. And so we received a rating. Out of 154 installations, we rated 150. And so we're better than that. We can do better than that. We have made some progress, but as I said, this is a very serious time. And the Air Force recognizes the importance of quality education. For us, I'm sorry, I've recently retired. For the Air Force, it's a matter of recruiting and retention and readiness. And public education is so important that future basing decisions will be based in part on the quality of public education and support for spouse licensure and reciprocity.
When you say future basing decisions, explain what that means.
Sure. So as we continue to evolve in this dynamic security environment, new missions come on board. For example, we now have the Space Force. And so they're looking for a headquarters for the U.S. Space Force. So those decisions will now include a score based on the quality of education in the local area. They'll also be looking at current missions. And so if you have a location or a community that doesn't have a quality public education system, it's hard to recruit to that community. And we experienced that in the Air Force when I was on active duty. It was hard to get some folks, some of our best and brightest, to come to Montgomery and serve at Maxwell, unfortunately, because of the state of the public education system. Again, we are making progress, but the military recognizes this is a competition. And so, for example, in my 30 years of service, I moved 19 times.
Wow.
Our son Dylan is 13, and he moved 9 times. And so one of the first things that happens when you get the orders is you look up schools. Where are you going to go to school? Where are you going to live? Who's going to be my doctor?
Right.
And where am I going to go to church?
Amen.
Right?
Right.
So when we started experiencing a loss and some folks not wanting to take assignments here because of the public education system, it became very concerning. Or they elected to separate. And so if you're coming here for Air War College or Air Command and Staff College, and you decide to leave your family back in whatever base they were at because you didn't want to disrupt your kids and bring them here because of the quality of the education system, it has an impact across the United States Air Force.
Well, to make a long story short, folks, if anything ever happened to Maxwell Gunner, you could fold up Montgomery and just put it right in the trash can. And we cannot afford to allow that to happen. And if you're basing these scorecards on public education, then it's time for all of us to come together and do something. And the exciting part, here's
Yes.
the good part.
Yes.
We've got a chance. We've got a
Absolutely.
chance. And on our ballot in November, let's talk about that. There will be an opportunity to make a difference. And that is the property tax.
Right. Right.
And you can just tell me what you think, because I am adamant about that.
I think that, and so this would be my personal opinion as a resident, a father and a husband with a 13-year-old child, right, in the education system. We got to put in the work, right? And so sometimes I'm surprised at the folks who are disappointed in the results they didn't achieve based on the work they didn't put in.
Well put.
Folks, this is about putting in the work, and we have to put in the work, and this is just one piece of a series of efforts that will allow our kids to have access to quality public education, and that is so very important, not only from a military perspective, but from a human dignity perspective, right? So if we want to compete, we're going to have to pay a little more than what we're paying now, and as a personal private citizen, I am willing to do so. Because what's at stake is the future of our community and, I think, our military. There are so many opportunities for us to just hit a home run. We know where we are. We know the things we need to improve on. It's like an open book test, right? We know.
Right.
The
Right.
military has said, you know, absenteeism and graduation rates and ratio of student to teacher, student to nurse. It is an open book test, Virginia. We know.
Well, I am with you. And somebody said, how can you be excited about a scorecard like that? And I said, because you can't make touchdowns if you don't know where the end zone is.
Right.
And they have showed us where the end zone is.
Yes.
And it's up to us now
That's
to
right.
get there.
Right.
And I would like to make one point. In the bill, you know, we're going to have an opportunity to vote on this in November. There is an accountability for where that money goes, because I know that that's a question that is a question in my mind and everybody else. But it's not like you're just voting to increase your property tax. You've got along with that a responsibility for accountability and consistent reporting.
Yes.
So I think that we need to make that clear. And then
Yes.
you'll have to forgive me for being so passionate about
That's
this.
okay.
But you know, it's a problem and a possibility.
That's right.
And it's something that we can do.
Right.
Not everything is something you can do something about.
Right.
But you know what? I believe in the people that watch this program and the people that love this town and love the military, and we're counting on you. And we have great folks, love every one of you, and thank you so much for being with us. And we appreciate you very much. And
Thank
we're going to
you,
get
Virginia.
right behind you too.
Awesome. That's what we need to do. Thank
we'll
you very
we'll
much.
do it. And thanks
Excellent.
so much for being with us. And we'll be right back.